Today was the day he's supposed to rest, and then he called all of us to come here because he decided to train. My opinion was the best decision. This is the way Mike, handle the things. He's supposed to rest, but he changed the idea, and we are here to push in as much as we can. Excited after the week, and here we are, ready to go, ready to go.
Yes. Bring it on. Low. Yes.
Something feels different about the idea of Mike Tyson stepping into a camp for a Floyd Mayweather fight. And it's not nostalgia, it's intensity.
Right back to the body.
You right, coach?
Mike, well, maybe need 10 seconds. Put 10 seconds there. Good shit. That's the defend. 12 rounds. 12 rounds. 12 rounds. 12 rounds.
This time it's not exhibition vibes, not friendly sparring headlines, not scripted entertainment energy. It's real action atmosphere.
The idea today was to do 5-6 rounds. Why you gonna do 5-6 if you knock him out before? If was the fight was over. The fight was over. Then more you do is just extras. Michael home today, happy, confident, and knock him out. I did my thing. Now he gonna do conditioning. Can you imagine one more round, you're gonna feel tired, exhausted? No, we did 4, and now we go to do something extra now.
Come and get me, Mike. Come on. There we go. That's it right there. Perfect. That's one. Good one, Mike. Come and get me, Mike. Let's go. There we go. That's round yet. That's round yet. Let's go. Come on, Mike. There we go. Using those legs now. Good. There you stand. There you stand. Stay low. Stay ready. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Come on, Mike. Yes, sir. Get that ring off. Good. Stay low. Stay ready, Mike. Stay low. Stay ready. Hey, come on, Mike. There we go. Yes. 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 Yes.
You've got Tyson working under Rafael Cordeiro, and that alone changes the entire picture because Cordeiro doesn't train for show. He trains for controlled destruction.
Mike is excited. He wants to be there. He wants to one more time entertain people. He's a fighter, but he likes to entertain people. And this is what he fights for. He fights for all those people that he can see in the street. The people come to him and say, "You are the people's champ." So this is really motivating him to be in the gym from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day.
Shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Expect the biggest fight of the history. Why? Because we talk about Mike Tyson. We talk about Netflix, live on Netflix, something that never had before. Things like that you just can do with me like Mike Tyson.
The mitt work looks violent, the combinations look compact and explosive, and that signature forward pressure is being sharpened instead of softened. You can see the focus in Tyson's movements. Less showmanship, more purpose, like every punch is being calibrated to close distance on a defensive genius.
Round 1. Oh. Feel. Cut the ring. Exactly. Cut the ring. Exactly, Mike. Beautiful. Yes, just like that, Mike Tyson. Excellent, Mike. Excellent, Mike. You break him. Unpredictable. Exactly, Mike. Beautiful. Roll, Mike. Excellent. Excellent. Complete game. Complete game. Beautiful game. Complete. There's nothing to say. You're complete. Exactly, just enough. Beautiful roll, Mike. Excellent roll. Excellent defense, champ. This is the perfect head position. This we talk about it. 40 seconds. You are winning the fight, so there's no reason for you rush. We are winning the fight. All good for us. Clean shot, Mike. Excellent. Nice left hook. Up, up. We're done. The job is over. We're done.
And on the other side, Floyd Mayweather isn't treating this like a spectacle either. By the looks of his training clips, the man still moves like time politely asked him for permission before trying to slow him down. The reflexes? Sharp. The footwork, effortless, the speed, still snapping like his prime years. He's drilling defense, timing, and ring control with that same surgical rhythm that made him untouchable for decades. What makes this dynamic fascinating is the contrast. Tyson sharpening raw aggression and finishing instinct, while Floyd is polishing precision, IQ, and survival mastery.
Slide and drop. Punch it, point it, here we go. Drop, drop. Walk it, walk it, walk it. Pitch it. Pitch it. 6. Punch it. Pitch it. Watch it. I step back like I have my distance. That's why I step back. See, I have my distance. Fighters don't know their distance. You gotta know your distance.
One preparing to unleash pressure and power under elite guidance, the other refining a style built on discipline and near-flawless execution. If both men truly step in without holding back, this wouldn't feel like a throwback moment. It would feel like two timeless fight identities colliding under modern preparation. That intense talk about Tyson unleashing power under Cordeiro while Floyd sharpens timeless speed suddenly crashes into Daniel Cormier's reaction like a cold bucket of reality, because DC isn't speaking as a hype man, he's speaking like a combat athlete who understands danger math. The moment Cormier says we need to slow down, I'm already nodding, because that's not negativity, that's perspective cutting through spectacle.
I respect these two men so great a degree that it's hard for me to almost make negative statements about them. But I think that our job as talking heads is to tell you the truth, regardless of how much you admire someone or the applause and adulation you have for them. You got to tell them the truth.
He literally compares this to Jake Paul versus Gervonta level absurdity, and then goes even further. And you can hear the disbelief building when he mentions a 200-pound presence against a historically small genius boxer. That's not just a weight gap, that's physics versus finesse. Then DC brings up Roy Jones saying that's Mike. And that line hits different because it subtly reminds us that even controlled legends carry unpredictable switches. What really stands out is when Cormier questions the motivation, pointing out these guys don't need money, and I'm thinking the same thing. This isn't desperation, this is legacy theater mixed with competitive ego.
Hey, when Mike fought Jake Paul, a lot was made of him being 58 years old. He's in tremendous shape. I mean, I saw him, and even in there, right? He couldn't get going at the rate that he expected, but early, he was fighting like Mike Tyson. Floyd Mayweather's much younger, but he's so much smaller. So I get why Mike is like, yo, I don't know what this dude wants to do. Because there was a world where no one would ever thought that those guys would end up in the ring together.
When he asks how you sell an exhibition as a real fight, that's the sharpest take in the entire segment, because fans want intensity, but exhibitions promise control. And DC saying viewers tune in for skill plus damage, that's uncomfortable truth wrapped in professionalism. Yet here's the collision. Tyson himself hinting it could be legendary, while Cormier doubts the violence level creates this fascinating paradox. One side selling myth, the other questioning realism. Also, the health angle he raises about Floyd risking everything against a naturally heavier puncher isn't drama, it's logic. So now we're stuck in this strange middle ground where greatness meets spectacle economics, danger meets discipline, and hype meets practicality. And honestly, the more calm DC sounds calling it ridiculous, the louder the seriousness of the matchup actually feels.
And again, they don't need money. I imagine though, it's going to be a boatload of money, and no one would turn away $20 million or whatever those guys may make. I don't know what they're going to make, but they're going to make an insane amount of money. But they have money. Because one thing I do know we won't see is Mike just starts Floyd Mayweather. Because could you imagine if he just knocks out Floyd? And Floyd's that much smaller, the visual? Hell, it would be the most viewed thing you ever see on TV.
That uneasy realism Cormier brought with the whole slow down energy suddenly flips into full blunt mode the second Wade starts talking. Because now it's not just concern, it's almost disbelief wrapped in sarcasm. When Wade jokes about not having words and then immediately having too many, I'm like, yeah, that perfectly captures how absurd Tyson versus Mayweather feels in 2026 boxing logic. He brings up Mike barely moving in the Jake Paul fight, and I can't even ignore that visual clash in my head, because we're talking about a near 60-year-old heavyweight icon potentially sharing a ring with a naturally smaller defensive genius who built a career on not getting touched. Then Wade calling this stumble and bungle instead of some historic spectacle? Savage, but also low-key reflective of fan anxiety more than disrespect. What really catches my attention is when he shifts from spectacle to finance talk, hinting at lawsuits, debt rumors, and exhibitions stacking up.
His name value carried that fight, and it did a crazy number. I'm sure he'll make a crazy number here, but Floyd Mayweather is the one that seems like he needs the money more right now. Our guy, Andreas Hale, wrote a story that is kind of went somewhat viral. That's crazy, the laugh faces. Although Floyd Mayweather Jr. made hundreds of millions of dollars from his professional boxing career and topped the Forbes list as the highest paid athlete from 2012 to 2014, the boxer is said to have been shortchanged and filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Showtime. The lawsuit filed Tuesday, and obtained by ESPN seeks to recover hundreds of millions of dollars misappropriated funds and damages resulting from a long-running and elaborate scheme of financial fraud, breaches in fiduciary duty, and conspiracy orchestrated by Floyd J. Mayweather's former manager and advisor, Al Heyman.
Because now the narrative stops being legacy and starts smelling like business survival. And that's where the tone gets uncomfortable. Not hateful, just heavy. He even says he hopes both get paid while still sounding disappointed, which is such a conflicted fan perspective. Meanwhile, his skepticism about exhibitions delivering real intensity directly echoes Cormier's earlier doubts about authenticity. And I'm seeing the pattern. Hype promises danger. Reality usually delivers controlled nostalgia. The wildest contradiction, though, is Wade admitting he'll still watch while calling it disappointing. That's modern boxing fandom in one sentence. Curiosity fighting logic. Respect for legends colliding with the harsh visual of time catching up. And when he frames it less as a competitive fight and more as a legacy risk spectacle, the excitement doesn't disappear. It just turns cautious, like we're watching history, but through a very complicated emotional lens.
But it is kind of, it's not even kind of, it's super disappointing that two legends of the sport have to do this still. I said it in the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, I'll say it here. You can't put lipstick on a pig with these two especially. We know what we get from Mike. We know what we get from Floyd. This is going to be absolutely nothing. Like, we're going to sit here and watch nothing. And yeah, I'm going to watch it for sure. I'm going to cover it. If it's just for the sole reason of saying, yeah, this is not what we need, and highlighting what can happen to this new generation of fighters that are getting paid very well. They don't manage their money properly.
That conflicted, almost uneasy tone Wade was carrying about spectacle versus legacy suddenly gets sharpened into something way more grounded the moment Johnny Nelson starts talking. Because now it's not just fan emotion, it's veteran logic stepping into the chaos. When Johnny says this feels personal between Tyson and Floyd, I immediately pause like, wait, that changes the whole exhibition narrative from circus to ego-driven chess match with heavy gloves. He straight up hints that ego might override common sense for Mike, and honestly, that line hits harder than any dramatic promo because it acknowledges the psychological fuel behind legends agreeing to something this bizarre. Then he calmly breaks down the age dynamic, Floyd still moving, still hitting the bag, still active, while Mike, at 59, is relying more on instinct and aura than sustained ring pace, and you can almost visualize the stylistic frustration he's predicting.
Well, if there are rules, nobody's going to stick to them. I don't believe in a million years Floyd Mayweather is going to stick to any script that's been written in regards to this exhibition. And I don't think Mike will either. I don't think, if there's anything scripted, allegedly, they said with Mike and Jake Paul, I don't think whatever's written down, there's going to be anybody sticking to the rules, because this is beyond what we see on TV. This is beyond this is personal. These two guys work together.
Johnny basically paints the picture without yelling. Younger legs, smaller man, more movement versus older powerhouse who just wants one clean moment. That's cinematic tension, not just mismatch talk. And when he says fans will watch through their eyes, even if they complain, I'm nodding because that's painfully accurate boxing psychology. We critique it, debate it, and still tune in like it's a live argument unfolding in gloves. The real cold truth, though? When Johnny admits money and livelihood, you are part of the equation, suddenly the legacy debate collides with reality, and the narrative shifts from should they fight to why wouldn't they if the pay is massive? That's not glorification, that's realism. Add in his reminder that Father Time doesn't negotiate with style, and now the fight stops sounding like fantasy violence and starts sounding like a clash of pride, business, and nostalgia all tangled together. Not clean, not simple, but undeniably compelling in a strange, uncomfortable way.
He still physically can move about the ring and do what he has to do. I think for Mike Tyson, he's going to be very frustrated. He will want to lay a shot on him to get rid of him, but unfortunately, you slow down, Father Time gets the better of us all. And even though I think when it comes to a fan's favourite, I'm quite sure most of the fans would love to see Mike Tyson put Floyd in his place, and that's probably what will be the attraction as well. But you've got to remember, Mike Tyson's 59 years old. You've got to remember, Floyd Mayweather is still hitting the bag in the gym. He's still moving around, even though he's 48 years old. So you've got to remember that. So you're going to buy into it, no matter how disgusting you think this fight is, no matter what complaints you have about it, you're going to buy into it.
So when you zoom out from the Tyson under Cordeiro intensity, the surgical sharpness of Floyd's training, Cormier's cold, slow-down reality check, Wade's conflicted skepticism, and Johnny Nelson's brutally calm logic, the picture stops looking like a simple exhibition and starts feeling like a psychological event wrapped inside a boxing match. One side is preparing like controlled aggression is still a language Tyson can speak fluently, refining pressure, compact violence, and distance-closing instincts under elite guidance. The other side is moving with that timeless Mayweather discipline. Polishing reflexes, rhythm, and ring IQ like age is just a statistic that politely got ignored. Then analysts step in and the tone shifts again. DC questioning the physics, Wade questioning the purpose, Johnny questioning the ego versus common sense dynamic. And suddenly the narrative becomes layered instead of linear. Is it spectacle? Is it legacy risk? Is it competitive pride disguised as exhibition? Probably all colliding at once. And that's the uncomfortable fascination here. Not clean hype, not pure nostalgia. A strange intersection where myth, business, ego, preparation, and reality are all pulling the storyline in different directions at the same time. You've got a heavyweight icon sharpening intensity, a defensive genius maintaining elite sharpness, and a boxing world split between excitement and concern. That tension alone makes this feel bigger than a normal exhibition conversation. Drop your take in the comments, let's really talk about it. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.